All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Great Pretender, Season 1, Episode 13. All right.
Backstory for Cynthia. Cool.
She had a romance.
Indeed.
And not just any romance, one that was ripped away potentially by this critic.
Yes, this
art dealer, this
scammer
con artist.
Yeah. Because he turns out art is not his only passion.
Right.
Yeah, but we're going to be meeting this artist soon to have them actually make a duplicate of the painting.
Right.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of silliest for us to think that Edamura would,
Yeah, right.
would try to hawk something of his.
I like to think that was half just yes, we can, torment him with thinking that he's going to have to make the painting himself. And or, hey, we want to make sure you have a proper appreciation for art and
how difficult this is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm sure he did already, but
right,
doubling down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Thomas Meyer?
この店によく来てるって聞いたんだけど。
いたいた。お前か、トーマスを探してるってやつ。
What?
多分機関車の方だったべ。
Ah!
おまわりさん。
待てくれ。
ちょっとなしなしにごめんなさい。
Okay.
Maybe it's a tank engine. I'm thinking.
じゃあただの絵描きがなしで200万ポンドも借金してるだ。
Oh.
どんな担保があったのか知らねえが、借りまくって逃げ回ってるんだと。とりあえずこれで繋いどくべか。
That's mine.
Yeah.
Oh.
いつかブレイクしたらどうする？
Yeah.
もっと広いところに引っ越すかな。でも、
sharing the blanket, yeah.
すごい。
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And back here.
使えばおそらく本物と見分けがつかない。この私でも。
Even me. Nice.
彼に贋作を描けってこと？
贋作じゃない。本物を描くんだ。この私が鑑定すれば贋作さえもすなわち本物。
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
悪魔の証明。
And in a lot of ways, he could even grandstand saying that I'm making art exist that had been lost.
たったの10枚だ。描き終えた例に君を新進気鋭の天才画家として売り出すことを約束しよう。
Because I can put you on the map, so give me 10 forgeries and all.
Right.
But the only problem is that once you do that, he'd also own you.
Yeah.
He could get you to make more.
I mean, not really, because it's his career on the line if he tries to expose him.
That's a good point.
Like in a lot of ways,
Sure.
he wouldn't own him as much as more he would get him in with greed,
Mm-hmm.
He would maybe feel indebted to him for sure.
Right.
Like emotionally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
まず名画の発掘おめでとうございます。
ありがとう。
最近の活躍を見て美術界の007なんていう
Yep.
Yeah, no wonder.
Here it begins, yeah. He spies the masterpieces amidst the, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
もうここに連れてこない方がいい。
Yeah.
でも
Yeah.
女のケツを見てる場合か。
Fuck.
All right.
遠慮しないで食べてよ。久しぶりに会ったんだ。
Yeah.
また豆の缶詰なんて嫌だろ。
コールマンといつまで続けるの？
またそれか。契約であと6枚残ってる。
契約書も交わしてない。口約束でしょ？
Wow, yeah.
人には向き不向きがある。
I mean, I suppose you couldn't actually have a contract for it because,
僕には模写が向いてるんだ。
Well, no, but he could say that, after...
after the first 5, then start,
Yeah.
displaying my actual work.
Yeah, yeah.
豆の缶詰を食べて何年待てばいい。
Whoa,
そ
sure.
んなの耐えられるもんか。
利用された後は捨てられるだけよ。
だからどうした。
So what?
Yeah.
Oh,
For now, he's making money doing what he loves, even if it's not quite what he loves.
yeah.
直しないでくれ。
Fuck, man,
Okay.
no. In your way.
Yeah.
And that's him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
探しただトーマス・メイヤーここにいる皆さんにとってもいい話なんだべつまりあんたらへの借金をまとめて返すってことだべ
それって
まずは酔っ払い女に会ってくれねえか
Cool, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
んじゃ
どうもこんばんは
Oh man.
私の顔忘れた
I want you to make a forgery for me.
Yeah.
リンは一番高いのにしといたわ
Fuck. Yeah.
Nice. That all those little jabs.
Yep.
美術品を買い漁ってはマフィアに売りつけている輩です
Nice, nice.
Cool.
Making him look dirty even more.
Uh-huh,
Draws
yeah.
attention.
こういう外道は潰しても後から湧いてくるキリがない
そこへ行くと
Mm-hmm.
もっといろいろとお役に立ちたいです
張りのある若者と触れ合うのもたまには悪くないな
ロンドンの雪を必ず取り戻しましょう先生
All right.
Yeah, she's playing her role.
どんな絵だろうと売れなきゃ意味ないって
Jeez, yeah.
昔の君はもっと
先に変わったのはあなたよ
Yeah, she's planned this conversation out.
あの頃は舞台女優になると思って
I'm an actress on the world stage in some ways.
悪い冗談
It is a bad joke, yes.
もったいない
You didn't drink the wine this time.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
2 scenes, mirrors.
Yep.
Ah, love it.
So now what do we do?
It's art.
あなたが過去に発掘したいくつかの絵を私は疑ってました、ね。
Perfect. Yep.
素人が無責任なことを言うのは好かんなまさかとは思うがあれをマフィアに売るつもりではないだろうね
嫌ならあなたが競り落とせばいい。
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Perfect.
There we go.
Classic. Yep.
あなたも同じ穴の虫な参加資格は十分。
Getting his pride.
寄生虫
Yep.
But you already bought the actual painting at a real auction.
シンシアさレストランから帰ってきてから
Nice.
ずっと塞ぎ込んでるだ
Nice.
あいつはシンシアはおめえの腕にこだわっててな
He has them out now.
そうあの頃の彼女は素朴で化粧っ気もなくて
もし今でもシンシアのことさ
やめてくれよ
Yeah, yeah.
終わったことだ
じゃあついでに聞くべなして200万なんて借金さ作った
That is a
Sure,
good
gambling?
question.
Like, how? Oh. A young artist.
それは僕の描いた画像
Oh.
気が変になりそうだった
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Okay.
トーマス生きてるかトーマス
So maybe he didn't actually abandon him. He just left.
Uh-huh.
コスタの望郷国
Oh.
教師
He bought them back.
僕が描いた贋作だよ
He doesn't want them out there circulating. Oh my
Wow.
god.
Holy shit.
だから僕は決めた二度と絵は描かないって
Okay.
ましてや贋作なんて
Oh.
分かっただろ
Then this is the motivation then. Do you want to get the guy who's continuing to do that?
Sure.
You need to paint
Although
one
that
more
might not be
forgery.
enough.
You need to dance with the devil one more time. Nice. She's held on to it all these years. Oh. Oh, is it a ring? Yeah, yeah,
う
yeah.
まだ本物
But I can draw you one. And then she puts it in the
All right.
tin. and
Yeah,
then-
yeah.
Oh, I had a
Even if
feeling.
it's a fake.
Yep.
シンシアはあんたと別れた時から
Nope.
何も変わってね
All right. Yeah, let's
ずっ
do
とあんた
this.
が迎えに来るのを待ってたんでねえのかな今からでも遅くねえ次はあんたが動き出す番だ
Oh my god. Imagine if.
Yeah,
Imagine if they
that-
found love again.
まあ仲へ
Nice.
部屋のレイアウトはシンシア監修だべ
Nice.
と言ってもカーテンとかベッドはまだ届いてねえけど
モントウェアは何度かやってみたことがあるんだけどうまくいった試しはないんだでも本物がこんな間近にある
Yeah.
Maybe.
And enough time. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's have it.
Let's get it.
Song. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that would not happen overnight.
業者を呼ぶレベルの汚さね。
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the real one the one on the left or the right?
Yeah.
トーマスは昔の勘を取り戻すために
You also have to have the paint dry
命
enough.
がけで書いてただ。
Yeah.
トーマスはやりきった。
Yeah, he did.
こいつの頑張りは金のためじゃねえ。トーマスもおめえもきっとあの頃のままだ。
Fuck. All right.
All right.
Oh, it's a great
That was
episode.
wonderful.
Oh, I love the way that they kept flashing back at the perfect times. All right.
This was lovely.
It's a very lovely episode.
I
Wholesome,
yeah.
dramatic, painful,
Yep.
and beautiful. It had everything.
And I love how little it actually had to do with the con.
Yeah.
Like, we know that the con is there, it's happening, it's part of the reason for all the stuff that's going on.
Right.
But it's really, it kind of takes a back seat in order to make way for the character stuff.
Yep.
And I love that. I love
do
that
too.
so much because
Yeah.
we know that these guys are great con artists, right?
Yeah.
You know, while we're definitely excited to see the way that it plays out, that's a done deal in a lot of ways, right? And it's about the how.
Yeah.
And so since we've got this great emotional reason behind the why,
Right.
that makes us invested in the how, but then to continue to get that look into the past that we got in the previous episode, one, great, because the previous episode was fantastic, so yeah, give us more of it. But if you're going to bring this person back, yes, it makes sense that it would take a full episode dedicated to reestablishing the
Reintroducing them.
connection, reintroducing them,
Yep.
and convincing them to actually do it. Because the idea of him being like, no, I probably wouldn't be able to do it anymore. That makes a lot of sense. Like, if you have some crazy, like, Olympic level athlete
And saying, hey, pick up that thing you did 20 years ago.
yeah, or
15
even
years
2
ago.
years ago, right? Like, if they haven't been practicing and stuff, that's gonna
Yeah, their body's just going to be older, so they just won't be able
right
to do it.
To say nothing of the, like, if it was that special to get to that level of proficiency
To
where,
begin with.
right,
Right.
that doesn't just happen. So like, being rusty, that's exactly the kind of stuff that people would be looking for in this situation to see if, say, it's a fake. So
Yeah, but the idea that he would do all this for love. Yes, of course. Then the
Right.
fingers remember exactly what they need to do.
yes, the
mind
motivation
knows-
is back.
It's all there.
Right.
You can see it in the actual work.
Yep.
And this is something that I love about this is we have two adult characters having very realistic responses to what happened here.
Yep.
We have an artist who had been struggling to continue moving forward at all.
Right.
Meets a wonderful woman, and his passion for art is reignited, and he's filled with fire and fervor, and yet it's for her. He then realizes that as he's going through this, that none of his works are going to sell, and almost painfully so, the works of her, the object of his
Yeah.
affection, like where
Right.
his love, his desire, those paintings are also seen as worthless. But the ones
Yeah.
that look
Yeah.
like they could be used as forgeries are, worthwhile. So he makes the sacrifice in his mind to, sacrifice his
Oh, yeah.
integrity
Yep.
to, give something to her.
Well, and then
And yet he doesn't communicate with her whether, she's okay with it.
right, exactly. He gives her the thing that he thinks that she'll want when she was happy already.
Yep. She was happy already with beans and a shared blanket and a
Yep.
drafty apartment.
Exactly.
She didn't need all of this.
Right.
In some ways it's fun because Cynthia that we've known seems to be very materialistic, seems to be very
Oh, yeah.
hedonistic,
Yes.
seems to be almost drowning herself in these pleasures and things like that to escape something. And we've always wondered what. And it was the joke of, oh, she's too old,
Right. And, when
moved
she's not
past her
actually
prime,
that
and-
old,
and she's
yeah.
like, yeah, just shut the fuck up, and it's like, okay,
Right.
cool, she's that, archetype. Oh, now we know exactly why. Oh,
Yep.
she just wants to avoid what it was like to remember that time of romance and passion and love and,
and the
and
fact
simplicity.
that, yay, I'm an actress now, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm the best kind of actress. I'm an actress with no integrity.
I'm an
just
actress
like
that
the one that I left.
well, just like back then, nobody knew I was an actress.
Sure.
And now, nobody knows I'm an actress.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's so many little fun parallels you could draw from this. Yeah.
I also love the fact that he went into debt the 2 million in debt to get the paintings back for a few reasons. One, there's the poetry of the yes, he can't stand to see them in the museums, so he's like, no, I'm seeing children be inspired by these paintings that are fakes. I can't have that happen, so he buys them back at great risk to himself, right?
Sure.
But then there's also the statement of value.
Yeah.
So, he did not value the paintings of her because other people weren't.
Right.
And so
And he
made
communicated that with words, like directly.
right. And so then he makes the forgeries, right?
Right.
Then he realizes, oh shit, I regret doing that.
Yeah.
And so in a physical sense, he pays the price of these paintings that is bogus, that is not real, in order to just basically reset to status quo
And then come back to his own sense of, self,
effectively kind of like paying penance, but also like the this is not the actual stuff that's valuable. Like, yes, that's the stuff that he's actually paying for, but like, so I really like the sort of the nuance that can be gotten at there, because when I think about introducing a character that we did not previously know, specifically as an artist, give them a strong enough motivation that we can understand why they did the thing that they did and also why they stopped. And then also bring them back into the game over 2 episodes, right? Do that whole thing and make it really feel believable, and not just believable, but like something that we can like resonate with and like cheer on. That's very difficult to do, right? Like, so the fact that this was able to work, wonderful. Fantastic.
There's so many little bits of nuance here. I could get into some really like nitty gritty kind of detailed, very like almost obtuse things with this, because I think this goes like a good painting, many layers.
The more you look at it, the more you can see.
The more you can see. And there's a couple things going on here that are on both characters' sides with regards to Cynthia and Thomas. Thomas paid the price, yes. But in a lot of ways, he specifically didn't reach out to find Cynthia.
Yes.
He also paid penance by, in some ways, saying, I need to accept that it was my actions that drove her away. I need to find out whether or not I really did change. And so he then does the starving artist thing by like even like a mile more, and basically has damned himself to never getting out of debt.
He hasn't even ever picked up a paintbrush in years, right? And yet he's stuck in this debt situation. Right.
Basically saying everything that I have as an artist is worthless because it won't sell, but also I said that the only thing that mattered was what sold.
Right.
So I won't paint anymore. There's so many things you can get into with this.
And I will also make sure that these fakes don't ever sell.
Yes.
Right? Like it's that thing where he's making his own work be the like
because
have
that
the
wasn't
outcome
mine.
that Right.
Yeah. I loved that because then he sees his work in a museum and a kid is drawing inspiration from it, pun intended. And it ends him emotionally because he's like, oh,
what have I done?
What have I done? Yeah. I have. I am an abomination. I am awful.
And yet there's that part of me that's like, okay, but like, there's that part of me that wants to take that Monogatari logic into this of like, but if the fake can't be distinguished from the real thing, and especially if you're talking about something where the value comes from emotional, non-literal, tangible value, right? That is then like imputed into it. Who cares if it's a fake, right?
In a lot of ways,
that shows you that it's real. That kid right there is like,
I mean, he doesn't.
The kid doesn't understand art, but that's, is that not a testament? Like,
yes. There's so many ways that you could take the skills of a professional forger to the masses and have it actually be valuable. A great example of this is you basically just teach people how to paint. Sure. And you basically show a point that where you're going to start as an artist is emulating other artists. But the point of art is that you create something that is yours. So here's how I can masterfully recreate most artists' work and stuff like that. There's techniques that we can draw from each of them individually. What do you know? You might not be making real money in the actually good career side of money, but it's enough to maybe add some pork to your beans.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But two, the idea that your passion, your fire, that thing about you that made your art special, in addition to your talent, obviously, is something that would make you happy. So I love the idea that we've juxtaposed the wealth that these characters go after with happiness in this arc here, in that the two of them are unhappy as they're, middle-aged adults, versus when they were, Cynthia at this point has kind of everything. She's got a whole private island,
Yeah.
like she's giga wealthy,
and yet still doing jobs, right? It's that same
still
kind
doing right.
It's that same kind of lie that they keep, like hawking to Edamura of, just one more, right? Like, and it's like, okay,
they're all addicts.
yeah,
Now, here's my deep cut, and I want to go super deep on this one. This one is really fun because it was just a throwaway line. But remember when Thomas said, "That's not the Cynthia I knew." Mm-hmm. Look at her back then, the paintings. She never wore, she was all natural. She never wore a hint of makeup.
Oh,
you know what
gotcha.
makeup is? Paint. She has been doing the thing that is pretending, the actress of saying, like, look at me, I'm the forgery. She's been putting the layers on to pretend like she's that young woman still.
Yeah.
All that time ago.
No, I like it.
And donning the mask, the role of this actress who's, no integrity. So in some ways she's been subconsciously potentially punishing herself. This is a very deep cut here.
Well, yeah, the implications of that connection point. Yeah, I think that's where.
Yeah,
like,
because it's probably more of a
who's to say there's
economic side of things.
Sure,
she
or
just didn't
there's
have the
just
money to afford makeup, but
right, but yeah, I like the connection between those two things.
Right, because when he
sure.
sees her for the first time after all this, she's the definition of the distinguished, put together, middle-aged, wealthy woman. She's got amazing hair, garb.
Oh yeah,
makeup,
she did herself
jewelry.
up for this. You've had a lot of time to plan this.
She knew exactly what she was going to say. She had all of her like she had all of her ducks in a row, basically.
Right.
For let me find the exact moment here in the episode, because she tried to basically draw a distinction between where she was before and where she is now. But I just like this, the idea that she had maybe even shown him in this moment here that yes, she had changed, but it was more in that she was willing to partake in what the ill-gotten gains were,
right?
And I'm almost curious about this, if this was its own form of just vengeance, of being like, look, and now you can't have me, now you can't have, what, this is what you threw away by changing.
I would not be surprised
at all.
But
the hypocrisy in that she's like, but also I'm pretending to have accepted myself in this point of change when I literally live the life of someone who's in denial of all these things that we've kind of joked about Cynthia's archetype and character up until now.
It very much feels like a bit of accidental vulnerability where she's basically being like, hey, I know why you liked me.
Yes.
You wished that I was different with regards to accepting the life that you chose.
Yes.
Oh, hey, now I have.
Yep.
And it's like, isn't that a barb? Like, are you happy now? It wasn't enough for you back then. So is this finally what you want? And then he just no use it, right? Yeah. And it's like, and then she's like, oh fuck, like she actually was depressed afterwards because she didn't have a response to that, because she also doesn't like the person that she's turned into, right? So it's this great thing of where you can see the way in which this was an intentional choice on her part that one helps that conversation, like, and the whole reconnection and all the things that would come about as a result of that move very quickly,
Yes.
which adds to the whole doing this in 2 episodes thing that's so impressive.
Right.
While at the same time being absolutely in character because she is bitter. There's that bit of spite to it, where she's like, yeah, look at me, right? Mm-hmm. And he does. And then he's like,
And yet
You
she
know.
still held on to the ring all
Right.
this time
and
because
a piece of paper that's hard to keep for, 10 years or 20 years or however long it was.
oh yeah, well I mean she kept it in the tin, so it's going to be nice and secure in that regard. But
sure.
I would say that the part that I love so much about this is that typically the reason why people put up masks and or protections and or fakery is because they're sheltering or kind of they're hiding a vulnerability. They're looking at a specific thing that they go, oh, this is potential. This is an exposed point, and I will cover it up. I will make sure that it's not a point of weakness or a point that can be exploited or used or what have you. And her area specifically is in the area of the heart. She does not want, in some ways, anyone to have access to that because I think she hopes at some point that would only be his. If she could have the romantic, have everything be done over again, that she would get that second chance, and he would actually choose her and say that in some ways, she's more valuable than the art that sells. Because I think that really hurt her. I think
Yes.
that line that he gave at the restaurant was what instigated most of the desire to get revenge on him as well. Is the idea that like that word, those words were like a curse kind of hanging over her of like, no, like, did you basically
Holds
damn
up
all
holds
the
up the
time?
picture, the drawing of the ring. This will never sell,
Right.
Right. Does that mean it doesn't have value? And that's
Yeah.
it's man, it's
There's so much you can get into with this. I love these kinds of episodes for shows where it has like a very strong like action, excitement, hype element, and then they just go in depth into 2 characters for just an episode.
I always get a bit uncomfortable when I watch movies or TV shows that get into the idea of the starving artist.
Sure.
Because like
Yeah.
everyone's got their different take on it, right? And
Yeah.
it's an archetype that is very like
Well played out.
well played out. Like you don't have to be an artistic person to understand the starving artist archetype, right? Like everybody knows that one.
Everyone above the age of like 25 knows what that is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and oftentimes it's done with that kind of like idyllic, like
Romance.
comeuppance or the romance of it, right?
Yeah.
Which is that's a very rose tinted
very
look
rose-tinted.
on the whole thing, and so I like that we get to see the situation where he's kind of in the shitter, right? And yet we might actually get that nostalgic, cathartic, like victory of a sort, right?
Sure.
Where he is able to reclaim his passion,
Sure.
He is able to reclaim his love for art and his love for her, right? But yeah, this made me feel things. This made me feel things.
Has made me feel things too. I think that the injustice of this, but almost the relational injustice of this just hits me because there's an element of where both of them miscommunicated at extremely painful times. And while his was first, and I like that she kind of brought that up in almost like the petty childhood kind of way of like, well, you changed first. And it's like, that pain, I can feel that, Cynthia. Like I can feel that so much of the like, you don't get to basically point fingers at me, even though I'm weaponizing the ways in which I've changed to get back at you here.
Well, and the thing is that would have worked if he was still the person that he was when he made the forgeries. But the thing is
Well,
that
in some ways that's the sad point, right? Like,
Well-
they both never changed. They're both putting up masks and or facades to show that they're different. They just have experience,
Well, yes, but I mean, sad thing, sure, but at the same time, like her making those barbs, that was an attempt to get at his pride. and it didn't work because he did such an extreme form of
Yes. Humbling.
penance, basically,
Yeah.
that had the secondary effect of also humbling himself, basically, for
fuck.
however long this took.
And he didn't tell her in this meeting there because it's not for her, it's for him.
Right.
Holy shit.
So then, she brings up all this stuff that absolutely would have gotten under the skin of the him that she left,
Sure.
but he just isn't actually that person anymore.
Right.
And the thing that sucks is that
Okay.
she still spent all of this time being the way that she was in response to the him that she thought still existed, or at least that existed back then. And yet, who knows, maybe he hadn't existed, like that him has been gone actually for a long time, right? Theoretically, maybe they could have had this reunion years ago,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that's what
yeah,
always
very
comes up
possible.
whenever you get into the, reunion between old friends,
Oh,
lovers,
yeah.
et cetera,
And
right,
that stuff
had a
always,
falling out.
that stuff always just destroys me emotionally.
Yeah,
I can't.
Moral of the story, kids, communicate.
Communicate.
Don't.
Yeah.
Time does not heal all wounds.
And I just love this because the story played with the meta angle of we go through these arcs while focusing on one character of the main cast at a time. And thus we don't feel like this is drawn out of nowhere because Cynthia had already been characterized in a specific limited shtick way.
Yep.
And this all lines up with the shtick. It just draws the extra dimension out of the one-dimensional or two-dimensional character
Right.
that she was before this. And so while you could say that this is a miscommunication melodrama kind of things there because they did end up getting what they wanted here, the simplicity in that, no, the areas that were not communicated on, or the areas that were communicated on that caused the pain, all happened long before
Right.
any of this characterization happened.
Yes, exactly. That's the important part.
It's the part that instigated the actual characterization. That's in some ways the beauty of the backstory, the flashback in anime, is that you can kind of explain the shtick, the whole character, in sometimes a simple line or a phrase.
Oh yeah. If we had 3 seasons to watch a couple episodes of their beginning, and then almost the rest of the 3 seasons of just Cynthia kind of living her life, him living his life, and both of them avoiding this whole topic, and then we get this reunion at the end, that would generally not be a very enjoyable experience by and large, right? Because we don't need to see all of that stuff, right? And that's where the fact that it's we're going to introduce this character, this character dynamic and everything, and also give cathartic capitulation on it in the very next episode.
Very next episode, yeah.
That's
Yep. Fantastic stuff.
Mechanically and artistically, this was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, pun not even intended.
And now he's made the forgery. He's done it.
Yeah.
And he did it for you two. So what are you going to do about this, Cynthia?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you decide, because in some ways, you have a lot of choices here.
Oh, yeah.
You could also end up realizing that he wouldn't come with you if you took him to your private island.
Sure.
There's also a world where you realize that you've grown really accustomed to the pleasantries of being this wealthy con artist. And also there could be that point in the middle where you guys compromise and you meet in the middle with the intention to find out what your new direction and course is.
Sure. Yeah.
Who knows? This is exciting.
See, that's where your mind goes. Whereas my mind goes to just the, if I was an artist who did that, there'd be that chaotic part of me that would want to just be like,
not allow them to go through the full plan and scam them by having him buy back the actual real painting. Believe it's a forgery.
I would be too terrified that then they'd tell him it's a forgery and he'd burn it in frustration or something. But there's that part of me that's yes, you have 2 paintings. What if it was just memory of everybody else? This is the real one though, right?
Get really close and they smell the paint to see, you know, how like warm it
Yeah.
is. They try and like lightly touch it to see if it's.
They're like,
It's hard to tell.
it's hard to tell.
It's possible.
And then after all that work, eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
Yes.
Yeah, great episode.
But yeah, look up Thomas the Tank Engine if you don't know what that is. But yeah, y'all,
Yes,
thank you so
yes,
much for
that's
watching this
the takeaway.
episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon and get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel, so yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and we'll see you all
Next time.